Hello, Phil here at BPM Pro 2016. I'm with Martin on the Pioneer DJ stand where they've got a whole load of new stuff. Maybe we can start with the WeGO4.
Yes, let's start with the WeGO4. So this is the latest in the WeGO series. It replaces the WeGO3. At a glance, it looks fairly similar, but we've made a few improvements. We've made the actual silk screen is much less cluttered, so it's got a much more simple interface for people who aren't necessarily DJs already. So we've got the 3 EQ pots here. Now, if you notice, compared to the old model, we've actually put a filter on where the bass pot used to be. Now, you can go into the settings and you can change that so you do have a 3-band EQ, but we wanted a bit of instant gratification for somebody who's not necessarily used to the traditional way of DJing, and you know, there's no better way to make things exciting than tweak the filter pot.
It's the new crossfader, isn't it, the filter? Everyone's got to have one nowadays.
Absolutely right, absolutely right. But so we managed to do that, but still keep the interface very simple, very uncluttered, because at the end of the day we're selling a laptop or an iOS iPad accessory effectively that you can do fully comprehensive DJing with. You've got your 4 hot cues along the bottom. If you touch that button there, that then becomes your sampler where you can trigger inbuilt sounds that are in the app, WeDJ or Algorithm DJ. You've got your effects section along the top, so the first 3 buttons are for control over your loops. So you press loop and it will go into a 4-beat loop, and you can half that loop each time by pressing the half button. If you wanted to extend that loop, you just go in the 2 times button. So if you've got a 4-beat loop, you can then double it to an 8-beat loop, 16, so on and so forth. You've then got your 3 effects, which correspond with the effects on the screen of the app there. And I think at that point it's quite appropriate to then start talking about the WeDJ app.
So this is a big difference between the WeDJ, the WeGO4 and the WeGO3, that this has a new Pioneer DJ iOS and Android as well, or just iOS?
At the moment it's iOS.
iOS app.
Yeah, but speaking of Android, before we go on to the app, let's just talk about Android, because the WeGO4 just has a standard USB connection at the back. Whereas the old WeGO3 had a special connection that was unique to the unit. So what this means is that you can just use your normal lightning cable to connect to your iOS device, or your normal USB cable if you wanted to connect to your Android device. So it really doubles the market size overnight. Now, as far as apps are concerned, at the moment WeDJ won't work on Android, but Algorithm DJ does.
Okay, now, so over here we've got Algorithm DJ running on the WeGO4, and this always was the app that was in use with the WeGO range. So now WeGO users have got a choice between using iOS or Android software from Algorithm, or the new WeDJ software on iOS from Pioneer DJ.
Yeah.
And this is the WeDJ software. Maybe you can tell us a bit about it, because it looks a pretty good effort for a first release. What's new? What's exciting in it?
Not bad. Okay, well, I mean, you know, like you said, straight away you notice the GUI. It looks very modern. We've gone for a very simplistic layout. You've got your coloured RGB waveform at the top there, fully customisable. You can go into horizontal waveforms, which is much more familiar if you're using traditional DJ software like Serato or Recordbox DJ. Or you can go to your
scratch kind of vertical mode.
Absolutely, you've got your vertical mode there as well. Or if you want, you've got your traditional jog wheels. Now, selecting the tracks is easy. You just go to the browse pot on the WeDJ and it takes you into your playlist. This is very familiar territory if you're used to using Recordbox DJ, because you've got all your search indicators down here. So WeDJ sits very comfortably with the interface of Recordbox DJ. So if you do want to progress and start using Recordbox DJ and software on a laptop, you're in familiar territory if you've got used to using the WeDJ app. So you simply go along here, find a track you want, hit load, and it loads it up on the deck ready to play. When you start playing, you get your BPM count read, and the rim of the jog wheel throbs in time to the music, which is a really handy visual aid.
To beat matching.
Absolutely right. I mean, you can press the sync button if you want, and it will sync, so that's changed the BPM from that track to the same as the track that's already playing. But if you want to teach yourself the manual way, that pulsing is really handy for a first-time DJ. You've got your effects section up here, so you touch your pad and you can change whatever effect you want. So, for example, if I want the flanger on there, it changes it to flanger effect. So every time I press one of these buttons, the effect is activated. On all three of these pads is the flanger, but the difference is the parameter. So you're basically jumping across the parameters of the effect. And the really good thing about this compared to the WeGO4 and Algorithm DJ is that effect is only activated while you have your finger on it. As soon as you take your finger off, it disengages.
So that's why you call them pad effects. It's kind of like an instant pad.
Absolutely right.
So another thing people who are unfamiliar with this gear might need pointing out is the fact that for display purposes, you've got the iPad up here, but there's a slot built in so that you can have the iPad. It effectively acts as a stand for the iPad as well, up to the full-size iPad, but not the iPad Pro, obviously.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So it slots in that dock nicely. I mean, imagine that was an iPad and it just sits in there nice and easy. And yeah, the cable that you connect it also charges the device as well, and it'll work with the app works well on iPhone and iPad Mini as well.
Perfect. So that's the WeGO4 and the WeDJ software currently on iOS at the Pioneer DJ stand. Thank you very much, Martin. We're here at BPM Pro 2016 with Phil Morse at Digital DJ Tips.